What's up, everybody? This is surprise video number 5 out of a 4-video set, so I figured I'd throw another one on. Video number 1 was basically what is a credit report. Video number 2 was how to get a free credit report, and then video number 4 was basically if you have identity theft, fraud, something like that, and you need to check and kind of what are the steps to report that type of activity. So my name is Norman Douglas. I own the Kansas Bankruptcy Center located in Wichita, Kansas. You can go to mybankruptcymeeting.com and you can schedule a free consultation, and then we will have a chat to determine if bankruptcy is right for you. All right, so the credit report and bankruptcy. Is the credit report the one-stop, for all of your debt? No, it's not. I know a lot of people call me and they're like, I have Credit Karma, I have something, whatever, I've looked, and these debts aren't on my credit report, so I don't owe that much. That may be true that they're not listed, but that doesn't mean you don't owe them. Okay, so I always usually kind of break it down into very simple terms in that, if you owe your neighbor $1,000, he's not or she's not going to report you to the credit bureaus, right? It's not going to happen. It might report you to your friends that that guy or that gal owes me $1,000, but they're not going to call Equifax or TransUnion and say, hey, my neighbor borrowed $1,000 and they have not paid me back. Probably not going to happen. Same thing goes for smaller businesses, small doctor's offices, dentist offices, attorney law firms, to be honest, small locally owned businesses. They probably are not going to report you to any of the 3 credit bureaus because it costs to report that debt. And so that's why whenever you run a credit report, you will see mortgages, you'll see automobile loans, you will see student loans, you will see major credit cards. All of those folks report because they probably get a discount rate. I don't know. But generally, Visas, Discovers, your MasterCard, Synchrony banks, all of those are going to report typically because they always report. And so when you look at your credit report, you're going to have your, I went through this in video 1 through 4, but basically you're going to have your mortgages, your car loans, and your major credit cards. Then the issue becomes is what do I owe in medical debt? What do I owe my neighbor? I mean, technically, if you owe your neighbor or your dad $1,000, you're supposed to list them in the bankruptcy, right? Because it's a valid debt, potentially a valid debt. It's another question. But you have to list them. And so how do you find out who you owe? Difficult question. Easy question, difficult to answer. Generally, you will go through all the bills that you've been sent. Hopefully you've kept them. And that's a good place to start. If you were hospitalized and you're going to, and you still have medical debt, many times you can figure out who the hospital, partners with as far as, if you went in for a surgery, you generally have the facility, you have maybe a anesthesiologist, you may have a radiologist, you may have the company that owns the machines, right? The company that hires the radiologist or the tech that takes the x-ray, if you will. You may have a specialist that comes in to see you. You may have a number of people, which means you're going to have a number of bills because they're not all employed by the hospital. Generally, the hospital is the facility charge and maybe some supplies and nurses, but that's it, right? Everybody else is going to be separate entities. Same thing with ambulance, right? It's a different bill. So normally, if you've gone somewhere like that, you will probably get a multitude, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bills for this same service or for the same surgery. And again, that depends exactly how they bill, but typically you want to find, of course, everybody that you got to bill from. So hopefully you keep your bills. Even if you're getting billed, you need to keep those if you're not even contemplating bankruptcy, just in case something happens later and you have to. But it's pretty hard to find debt that you don't know that you owe, right? So if you took out a payday loan 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and you have no idea who it was, where it was, or now it's gone, it's difficult to list that. The collection agency is not necessarily the creditor, right? So if you default on a loan to a local doctor, dentist, law firm, whatever, they may hire a collection agency. They could sell the debt. They could just hire them to collect the debt. It just really depends on what that transaction looks like. But that doesn't mean you don't owe it. Okay, so you want to make sure that you kind of sit back and think about who you may owe, and that way we can get them all down in the bankruptcy, so you're covered. All right. So that's kind of video number 5. Go back and look at the other 1 through 4 to look at a credit report and kind of understand what it is and what's on there and who reports. And then that's all I got. So Norman Douglas, I own the Kansas Bankruptcy Center, and you can go to mybankruptcymeeting.com and schedule a free consultation so we can have a talk to determine if bankruptcy is right for you. All right. So talk to you later. See ya.